Hi, my name is Andrea Prieto, and I'm making this project more challenging for me in three main aspects. First, I'm speaking in English as the professor suggested, and I am making a video instead of an essay. And thirdly, I am talking about the divorce as if my parents were the ones going through that process. This decision is mainly because I don't have any children, and I think that I would put myself in a more vulnerable position, and I would challenge myself more by talking about my parents. This is mainly because them getting a divorce is something that has been a fear of mine ever since I was a little girl, and I would connect more with my own emotions and practice my own professional abilities a little bit more. Throughout my life, my parents have had a very good relationship and have never been close to divorce, so I will be speaking from a hypothetical statement. On this video, I chose to speak focused on after the process of divorce because I believe it is when everything really kicks in and when the parts involved really have to deal with the consequences of the process, and it can be really hard for most people and even develop the risk of getting into a depression, of course, depending on the scenario, but it's something that I've seen in relatives close to me, such as my uncle, my aunt, and one cousin. And talking about my experience, I have experience in psychotherapy with children, but I didn't want to talk about the kids to get a little bit out of my comfort zone. So now talking about the divorce, the 10 main aspects that I consider crucial and most interesting to take into consideration are the attachment theory, the process of grief, the theory of the empty nest, the stage that Erickson calls generativity versus stagnation, and if there is any psychopathology involved, cultural differences, gender-based violence, if there is any post-traumas, individuality versus codependency, I think it's really interesting, and also the wounds that can surface during the process of divorce. Now, I want to talk mainly about two of these. One is the process of grief, and the second one is the theory of the empty nest, which for me is really interesting and I really like to talk about it. And while explaining this concept, I want to make sure, I want to be talking to my mom from my perspective, from my psychological perspective, and maybe explain why she's feeling the way she's feeling. Well, Mom, first I want to say that it is very difficult for me to talk to you as a psychologist because I believe that I have a certain bias and I have been emotionally affected by all of this process being your kid. But I just want to say that I love you both so much, you and Dad, and that is why I want you both to be okay, and that is why I'm talking to you. And from my perspective and my experience, I want to help you maybe understand a little bit of why you are feeling the way you are feeling. So, when we have any kind of loss, we go through different stages to overcome this grief that we're going through. The first stage is denial, after that comes the anger, then the negotiation, then the sadness, and finally the acceptance. And by the way that I am seeing you, you are in the stage of sadness. I can tell you that it's very, very normal, but I fear you have gotten stuck in the sadness. I think you need to find yourself again. You need to search for things that you love and reconnect with things that bring you joy, so you can find this acceptance, which is the last stage in this process. And I know it's really hard, and I just wanted to say that I'm here for you. When anything you need, I will be here for you to support you and love you. And I'm telling you this because I know your strength and that you will be able to get through this. Now, I know that you don't really know why everything started to go downfall with Dad, but I have an idea. When children grow up, such as me and my siblings, and decide to live on their own, and the parents are by themselves again, and after so many years of being the role of the parent, for some couples, it is very hard to reconnect just as that, as a couple, and readjust to all of the roles that this involves. And this is called the empty nest. This is when the little birds fly away. And I got to see this process between you and Dad, and it was very difficult for you guys to reconnect and readjust. And that is when you really started fighting. And you dedicated your life to take care of me, my sister, and my brother, which made you an amazing mother, and I am forever thankful for everything that you did for us. But I could see that you left aside your relationship with my dad, and throughout all of those years, you didn't have dates, you didn't really talk to each other as a couple. So when you two were on your own, after all of those years, you barely knew each other. And I think that's something that you told me happened. So you didn't really know each other or your needs or your emotions. Now, I totally respect your decision and I'm going to support you no matter what. But in my professional opinion as a psychotherapist, I believe that you would benefit from therapy to understand your emotions and working towards getting out of that sadness before it turns into something like depression. Although I believe you already have some symptoms of this. As I said, in this stage, it is normal and necessary to get over the grief, this sadness. But you need to work on yourself to make the process as healthy as possible. You have started to have some behaviors which have concerned me, such as staying in bed all day or not eating enough, and you also have to return to your daily activities to be productive again. Moreover, I see that you only see the bad things about Dad, and maybe you can work towards looking for everything good that he did, what he left you, and all the good moments that you spent together, and that way maybe you will find a more peaceful state of mind, which is something that I really want for you. And in conclusion, I believe you should find things that you enjoy, such as exercising, reading. I know that you love to play tennis. You could go out with your friends, travel, and you can be with us. We're always here to support you. And I can give you the phone number of an amazing therapist that could help you in this situation and that you can talk to. And about everything that you're feeling, you're not alone in this. I want you to know that. And you have a very strong support network so you can get through this. And you should be, I think you should be productive as you were before, and that would help you a lot. And you could work on yourself, as I was saying, and find peace in all of this process. I am here for you always. If you want to talk, if you want advice, if you just want to cry and support, I am here for you, and I love you.